What's up, everybody? It's your boy, Sega Man, back here with another video, man. And today we're going to kick it old school today. Very old school today. What I collected during the years, I'm going to take the old school gamers back in the past, back in the super retro days, man. I'm going to show you some games and talk about collecting for the Atari 2600 and 7800. You know what I'm saying? My very first system, to be honest with you, was way better than the Atari 2600, more expensive, and it was the best system at the time. It was expensive. Mine was the ColecoVision. You know what I'm saying? So I'm going to do a separate video on the ColecoVision, but we're going to go way back. You know what I'm saying? When people were just crazed about Atari 2600. And later on, the 7800, jumping a little bit forward, you know what I'm saying? The 7800 at the time was trying to compete with the regular Nintendo Entertainment System, the NES. And it kind of hung in there for a while, guys, but at the end, Nintendo destroyed it, you know what I'm saying? But it's still true to my heart, the Atari 7800, and I have a lot of games for it. And I have a lot of games for the 2600, you know what I'm saying? So, what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you some of the games I collect for the 7800 and the 2600. So I'm going to take you brothers way back. You guys are going to go way back into your childhood memory. You're going to be like, oh man, I remember that game, man. You know what I mean? So let's see what we got here in the retro box of the Atari 2600, guys. And we're going to talk a little bit about it and collecting for it. You know what I mean? So let's see what we got here first, man, in the box I got. Because I got a lot in here, man. So let's look at one. All right, this one here you guys might not have heard of, right? This game here is for the Atari, right? The Atari 2600, man. And this is called Planet Patrol. Actually, this is a shoot 'em up that looked very good for back in the day. It's not going to look like an NES shoot 'em up, you know, a little bit. You know what I'm saying? But this is real retro back in the day shoot 'em up, man. This is called Planet Patrol, and it is pretty decent. You know what I'm saying? It's a tape, a little weird looking tape. You know what I'm saying? But this is called Planet Patrol. You know, not really any artwork on it, right? But it was a good shoot 'em up game for the Atari. Believe it or not, the Atari 2600. You know what I'm saying? It's a really good game. You just put it in like that. You know what I mean? And it's really good. It's a really good game. Now, I can't tell you that these games right now are very expensive because sometimes you can find them in the exchange for $1, $2. You know what I'm saying? There is different types of games, though, that were on the 2600 that are worth thousands of dollars. I think one's called River Raid. Now, I think that's worth thousands of dollars or something like that. I think it's River Raid, and there's some kind of United States like game or something like that, some kind of like sporting event or something game or something. It's worth a lot of money. Now, Sega Man don't have that. You know what I mean? But there is some that are very, very expensive. You know what I'm saying? But most of these games you could probably find, you know, pretty cheap. You know what I mean? This one here, I believe I got this with a whole bunch of them. A guy offered me like $15 for like $15 for 20 games, man. This was so long ago. But I tried them all. But Planet Patrol is a really good shmup game for your Atari, man. So if you ever want to collect for your Atari, maybe try looking and finding that, you know, on the internet or anything like that. You know, I'm pretty sure Amazon or one of them have it, or eBay. But it's a great game. So let's look at one that has a little bit of some art on the front of it. Now we're going to look at we're going to look at a couple of 7800 games too. So let's see what we got here in the 7800. Because I got a few here, guys. You know what I'm saying, for 7800. You know what I mean? Like this one here, you can actually still play this game, the new version of this game, right? On your, even on your Xbox. It's back compatible, I believe. It was on the 360, and that is a game on the 7800 that was really good. It had great graphics for the day. Is Choplifter. Choplifter for the 7800 has pretty good artwork on the front. Man, guys, if you guys were living back then when I was, and you were playing these games, man, it was awesome. Awesome games. And every time you died, man, it's one of those games that made you just keep coming back and back and back and back and playing it. You know what I mean? It's a great game, Choplifter. And you can play Choplifter, I believe, via back and pat, or it might not be. I'm not sure. I think it might be. But it's also on a 360. You know what I'm saying? Better, newer graphics, updated, color, whatever. But Choplifter, man, it's a great game for the 7800. And like I said before, these games are not that expensive, man. Let's look at one more for that. Then we're gonna go into some more Atari games real quick here. You know what I'm saying? Let's see what we got here. Let's see. This is another shoot 'em up on there, guys. Now, some of these were in black and white color. You know what I'm saying? Got one here. You guys might not even have played this, right? In the Donkey Kong era, we got Donkey Kong Junior for the 7800. Was a great game on the Atari 7800, guys. It's in very good condition. It has really nice artwork on the front. The Atari 7800, it was really good back in the day, man. They really tried to battle Nintendo and they couldn't. Even though the price, I believe, of their system was cheaper back then, they just couldn't do it, man. But I loved my 7800. My grandmother bought me an Atari 7800 with my first color TV, you dig? You know what I'm saying? For my birthday one time, and she bought me all kind of games. You know what I mean? Some of them I still have. This is one of them. You know what I mean? So it's a great game, guys. You know what I'm saying? It's a good game. Another one is Exodus. Exodus was on the Atari 7800. Now it's black and white label, but Exodus you can still play today. You can find updated Exodus games. Like there's one on the PlayStation 1. It's a little bit expensive. You know what I'm saying? You can play this in the collections games that come on different systems and stuff like that. I think this is one of these, or one of the ones that are on one of the collections I have on my 1X. And I played it, but it's a little updated, you know what I mean, the way it looks and everything, but it really looked good back in the day on the Atari 7800, man. It's a great game, guys. Great game, all right? So let's look at some more Atari 2600, right? So let's pick out a couple here. You know what I'm saying? There's games you might not even heard of. I'm going to see if you guys know what I'm talking about when I show you this game, all right? This game is by 20th Century Fox. Now, a lot of you young bloods out there that are young gamers don't really know what 20th Century Fox is. It was an old TV, TV that would produce like TV shows and movies. You know what I mean? They were a movie company, TV show company, right? But they actually made a game for this show that I'm about to show you. It still comes on old school TV channels like TV Land or Antenna TV, different things like that, the old school shows, you know what I'm saying? And it ran for a long time, long series, right? And it was a TV series called MASH. But MASH had a game on a 2600, you dig? MASH. This is by 20th Century Fox Games. You dig what I'm saying? Now, this is very retro, very old school. This might be a little bit more in price. You know what I'm saying? But MASH had a video game. You know what I mean? On an Atari 2600. So some of you might not even some of you old cats might not even have known that. But they had a game on there. And it's pretty decent. It's not bad. You know what I'm saying? You got to remember, this is not super graphics like we're seeing today. You know what I'm saying? It's about the fun factor. It wasn't always about the graphics back then, guys. It was about the fun factor of the game, sitting with your boy playing beside you and playing the game together. That's what it was all about. You know what I mean? But MASH had a game on the Atari 2600. How about that, man? Let me show you another one. Where's my other one at? Let me show you another one real quick. You guys might not have known of. Where's that game? Where's that game at? I know it's in here. I'll show you guys real quick. Where's that game? Another one in here was made. I have to find it, guys. Let me see here. I'm not seeing it. Let me see. I don't know if I pulled it out. I might have pulled it out. I don't think I pulled it out, though. Nah. I'll have to come back to it. But, they had, right here, Pac-Man Junior. Pac-Man Junior was on the Atari 2600, right? That's Pac-Man Junior. Now, it's a black and white cover on there. Artwork's kind of okay. You know what I mean? But Pac-Man Junior was out on the Atari 2600. Back in the day when Pac-Man was very popular, guys, they made all kind of different versions. Super Pac-Man, Miss Pac-Man, Pac-Man, Pac-Man Junior. I think there's one called Pac-Man Baby, I think. But it was like a mania of Pac-Man games, different type of Pac-Man games, you know what I mean? Pac-Man Junior was one of them, and it's pretty fun. It's a pretty fun game. It's just a younger version of Pac-Man. It's his son, you know what I mean? So, it's not bad. I'm trying to find this game for y'all, man, real quick. There's that other game, man. That game. I might have took it out. Let me see here real quick. Let's see. Oh, that ain't it. Where's that game? Took that game out. Trying to find it for you guys. Yeah, I'm gonna show you this game, guys. I'm gonna show you this game, right? This was real popular back in the day when Sega Man and people like Hebot and 100 and E-Rock were young. You know what I'm saying? It was a great show that used to come on back in the early 80s, and they made a game for it. Now, this is on the Atari 5200, so I'm just going to show you this one 5200 game. This game is sought after. This game, I don't think it's real expensive, but it was a great show that used to come on, a sci-fi show that was really good, and it ran for a long time back in the days, right? And this game, made by Sega, this is made by Sega, man, is called Buck Rogers. Buck Rogers had a game out, right, on the Atari 5200. Buck Rogers was a great show that we used to watch back in the days as kids, like me, E-Rock, and them, 100, he bought all the older cats that know and rock out with gaming today. This was on the Atari 5200, and some of you guys might have had this game, but this game is a very sought-after game. This is definitely worth collecting for. Sega made the game Buck Rogers, and to tell you the truth, guys, it ain't really that bad. You know what I'm saying? It's not really that bad. It's another great game to add to my collection. Now, I'm going to do a video on my Atari 5200 that my friend April gave me. You know what I'm saying? Old high school friend. She had it in her basement, so I went over her house and got it. You know what I'm saying? She gave me the Atari 5200 with all these games, She's cool, you know what I mean? April's really cool, if you know what I'm saying, So, that was a great game, and actually, this was one of the games that was in there that she gave me. You know what I mean? And I'll show you one more from the Atari 5200. This one is the Star Wars arcade game, and this was actually pretty goddamn good, guys, for the Atari 5200. This is where it all started. The Star Wars game, Atari 5200, man. This is a great game. This is a very popular game, very sought after game, guys. It's a great game. You know what I mean? For the Atari 5200. I'm going to do a video on that, man. I'm going to show you the system, go in detail about the systems in a later date. But I wanted to show you, some of the games that I collect for and collecting for the Atari 7800. Now, I'm going to show you the ColecoVision games like later. I'm going to do a different video on that. You know what I'm saying? But let's go through a couple more, and then we're going to end the video, man. Let's go through a couple more here. You know what I'm saying? Very good games that we played a lot as a kid. You know what I mean? What do we got here? That's common. This was a great game that we loved back in the day, all right? This was another good game that everybody played. It was one of the best racing games back out then. Probably the only one that was really worth, and popular and playing. You know what I mean? And it was for the 7800. This is Pole Position 2. Now, it doesn't have a cover. Back in the day, some of them would spend more money to make covers for their cartridges, all right? But this is Pole Position 2, and this was a great racing game, guys. Back in the day. You know what I mean? It's nothing like Forza, or nothing come close to nothing like that. But this is what we had to work with back then if you were into gaming. You know what I'm saying? Pole Position, the first one, the second one, great color, great sound effects, great games. You know what I mean? Pole Position was a great game. You know what I'm saying? It'll say something like, I forgot what it says. I think it says pull up to qualify. Had a little voice, you know, before you start the game. But it is a great game. Pole position, man, on the 7800. You know what I mean? Now, let's see. Another great game people played on the Atari 2600 brings back memories. This one is called Jungle Hunt. A lot of people like to review Jungle Hunt, man. Jungle Hunt was a good action-adventure scrolling game. Non-stop pacing and action in Jungle Hunt. This was a great game that came out for the Atari 2600, guys. Some of the brothers out here are going to remember this game. But Jungle Hunt was a good game for the Atari 2600, guys. A lot of fun. The graphics were pretty decent back then. You know what I mean? Some of it even had like good backgrounds, almost like a parallax scrolling. And some of it, you know what I mean? When he's swinging on the rope, you know what I mean? And then when he goes to another rope, you know, you can see almost like a 2D effect. It was a great, great game, man. Jungle Hunt, man. And like I said before, you can find these games still today. Some of them pretty cheap. You know what I mean? So, let's see. Do we got any more here? Let's do one. Let's do another one. Let's do another one. What all we got here? I have a lot, guys. I have a lot. I have a lot of games. This one here. Oh yeah. Believe it or not, guys. This game, it's okay. Now it doesn't have a cover. I'm gonna have to try to show you the front. But this game is called Masters of the Universe: The Power of He-Man. Now He-Bot might know about this game. It's a really thin game, and it played in the Atari 2600. Now, I'm going to try to, so you can see it. You might not be able to see it very well. Try to focus it in there, in the camera. But it's called Masters of the Universe: The Power of He-Man. Now, these games, I don't really hear anybody talking. Look, the tape's shaped pretty weird. Kind of like a tombstone, like a graveyard tombstone. But I mean, this is what I'm talking about. They brought out all types of games, and companies brought out all kind of different games, you know, for the Atari 2600, man. You know what I'm saying? Just different types of games, stuff like that. This was an old school game that was better on the NES, but it came out for the Atari 2600 too, and that's called Kung Fu Master, right? Kung Fu Master it's better on the Nintendo, but the Atari 2600 bought a version of it. You know what I mean? You go through these boards, kicking the enemies down. You have to go up these steps. You got to go up the tiers, and you got to go up to the top and save your girlfriend from the main boss up there. But Kung Fu, made by Activision, when Activision was good back in the day, is a great game to add to the Atari 2600. You know what I mean? If you want games and you want to go and collect that far back. You know what I mean? So, but I think that's it, guys. You know what I mean? I have a whole lot in here. I don't really want to make the video super duper long. This one here is called, this was actually pretty good. This is called Terminal. This is another 20th Century Fox game. And this game is actually pretty unique. It had really great sound effects in it. You know what I'm saying? These games are rare. You know what I mean? I'm not saying they're real expensive, but they're rare. This is another great game that came out by 20th Century Fox Games. And it had really good, like, crazy good-ass sounds in it. You know what I mean? Sound effects and stuff. But it is a really good game, guys, for back in the day. And it's also worth going back and playing these old school games, guys. It really is. You know what I mean? This is before 8-bit. This is before 8-bit. And 8-bit's really popular now today. You know what I mean? You can buy a lot of 8-bit games, actually, on your newer systems. You know what I'm saying? But, like Galaxian. You want to look at an old Galaxian game. Artwork is beautiful. Galaxian for the Atari 2600. Check the artwork out on that. Very, very awesome artwork on Galaxian. This game is still loved and played today. I still play Galaxian today. You know what I mean? This is a great game, guys. But I just wanted to show you a few of my Atari games, guys. You know what I mean? I have the Atari 5200. I'm going to do a video on that soon. But I wanted to take the OG gamers way back, show some of my Atari cartridges and collecting for Atari. You know what I mean? I hope you guys enjoyed this video. You know what I mean? Come and check me out Saturday, probably around 2 o'clock on Game Talk with Sega Man. Everybody's welcome. Please come and join us. You know what I mean? Hebot might come in later. It depends on how busy Hebot is. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to try to get some other people on my show. You know what I mean? Shouts out to Intro Media Gaming. You know what I mean? And the crew over there, 100. You know what I'm saying? Shouts out to my podcast with my brother, my other podcast with my brother E-Rock. Shouts out to the Exile podcast. You know what I'm saying? I always give a shout out and support, my brothers over there. You know what I'm saying? So come and rock out with us at 7 p.m. on Sundays on the Exile podcast, man, where we go in and talk about gaming, retro gaming, gaming news, what we think that's bad in gaming, the toxicity out there in the gaming community. We do it all. So come and rock out with us on our Exile podcast, man. Sundays at 7 p.m., all right? I'm almost up to 500 subscribers, guys, and I'm just very thankful to everybody that rocks out with me. I want to give a big, huge shout out to my main man, the Graphic God. The Graphic God always checks my videos out, man, and he loves the vintage stuff that I do. That's what's making me also do more vintage stuff and show more vintage stuff. Shouts out to my boy, the Graphic God, Jay. If you need a gamer pick, you need to talk to Jay, the Graphic God. You can check him out on YouTube. Look up the Graphic God. He does the best gamer picks out there in the gaming community. He's better than anybody else out there, in my opinion. I've seen other people's graphic picks, and they're good, but in my opinion, they're not as good as Jay's. You know what I mean? And you can also support him too with Redbubble if you get a T-shirt of your graphic pick or something. I think he gets a percentage of that. So check him out on Twitter, the Graphic God, and check his channel out with Retro Renegades on YouTube, the Graphic God. All right, guys. So I'm going to end the video. I hope you guys really enjoyed this video, going down memory lane with me with the Atari 2600 and the 7800, and showing you some of the Atari 5200 games. But at a later date, I will go in on and do more in-depth video of the systems. And I'll show you a few more games that go with this system. Alright, guys? So, peace and love, guys. Xbox for life. We don't die, we multiply. Peace. And yeah, man, remember, wear that goddamn mask. Peace!